It's Thursday and time for a check on events related to Korea that made headlines in the foreign media this week. Kim Sung-hyun joins me now. Sung-hyun, welcome back.
Good to see you, Sunny. This week we have quite a bit of coverage regarding the controversial refereeing decisions made in the Beijing Winter Games. Also some coverage on the WTO's latest ruling on washing machines tariffs and the role of SMEs in Korea's future economy, as well as the delivery of face masks to schools in India by the Korean embassy there. So let's dive right in. ESPN wrote that even though Korea had filed complaints regarding the disqualifications of two of its short track speed skaters at the Beijing Games, Hwang Dae-han won gold in the men's 1,500 meters on Wednesday. It noted that even though Korean citizens flooded social media, even urging the team to go home following the controversy, it's certainly a good thing the team stuck around to earn its gold. The report also mentioned that Hwang downplayed all of the fierce reaction to the disqualifications, saying Wednesday's race was the cleanest race, which was their strategy. The New York Times had written in detail about the controversy from earlier this week. The Times made note that Hwang was a strong medal contender indeed, being the world's second-ranked 1,000-meter skater in the world this season. The report further mentioned a protest by Hungary as well, after one of its skaters was also disqualified, with its protest being rejected by the ISU along with Korea's appeal. The report highlighted that such controversial decisions are the norm in these events, but that the latest have received much scrutiny, as most of them have noticeably benefited the host nation, China.
Right. Meanwhile, the World Trade Organization has reportedly sided with Korea in a dispute over U.S. tariffs on washing machines, Sung-hyun.
Right, residential washing machines. This was a ruling that was made on Tuesday, Sunny, in which the WTO said the U.S. violated international trade obligations in the way it imposed tariffs on Korean exports of household washing machines 4 years ago. So Bloomberg noted that the WTO's panel of trade experts made a decision that mostly sided with Korea, which recommended that the U.S. update its safeguard measure in accordance with WTO regulations. Korea's Ministry for Trade, Industry and Energy welcomed the WTO's announcement, which ruled favorably on all 5 of its substantive claims, adding that Seoul plans to quickly resolve any remaining issues with Washington. Now, Bloomberg noted that the dispute was a relic of former U.S. President Donald Trump, who ignited a series of trade skirmishes even with U.S. allies and started a full-blown trade war with China that the Biden administration is still being challenged by. It added that the WTO's ruling was both a sharp rebuke of the Trump administration's policy and a reminder of why Trump officials tried to overhaul the WTO at the time.
Right, and staying with news on the economy, Sung-hyun, I hear one report claims Korea's small businesses will chart the future course to growth for Korea.
Yes, so up until now, we know that chaebols, or the large conglomerates, they have basically spearheaded Korea's rapid economic growth as well as industrialization. But a report suggests that small firms will now determine the future of our economy in the digital era. So the diplomat wrote that as Korea's economy has matured, the dominance of the conglomerates has prevented more startup companies from competing in the market. It cited research showing that non-conglomerate businesses that had previously been dominated by the chaebols have throughout time seen more patenting activity as well as labor productivity. The report further cited experts who suggest that with the transition to the digital economy, the public sector should help SMEs adopt new technologies more quickly, saying that these smaller firms still employ the majority of Korea's labor force today and are also concentrated in sectors that offer the most growth potential in the digital era.
Right, and moving forward then, Sung-hyun, in a gesture of goodwill, I understand the Korean embassy in India offered face masks to school children there. Tell us more.
Sunny, the Korean embassy in India did take a friendly step, a thoughtful step of delivering more than 10,000 masks to schools in India as India's announced a reopening of schools amid the coronavirus pandemic. So according to the Tribune, the Korean embassy delivered 13,500 masks with Indian flags printed on them to 26 Indian schools, which have been providing Korean language classes since last year. The ambassador of Korea to India said he hopes Indian school children who have gone through difficult times during the pandemic can stay healthy, go on with their studies, and deepen their understanding of Korea's language and culture. The paper also noted that the Korean Cultural Center in India has been arranging Korean language classes at Indian schools since 2015, adding that Korean culture has become more popular in India since the pandemic began.
Right, well, that is good to know. All right, Sungin, as always, thank you very much for your coverage.
The pleasure is mine.